What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video here today at the channel. We are here at our local gas station putting some gas for this beautiful S1000RR HP4. Now today's video is kind of a special one because February marks 1 year of riding.
Oh my god! Wow!
And I thought I would take this time to go over the video with you guys about what I've learned in that 1 year of riding, what my goals are for the future, and maybe try to ease some of you guys that are looking to get into biking, try to ease some of your minds about, you know, what you hear out there and the things out there that you kind of see on social media. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on the bike and start rolling. All right. Now the bike is a little bit warmed up already, so we're not going to hear any crazy exhausts, even though the exhaust on this bike is a stock factory. Woo. Are we on? Yes, sir. Sounds good. Let's go. All right, so a year of riding motorcycles, man. I'll tell you what, that year has flown by. It started out a little bit rough. We weren't always on this HP4, this beautiful BMW 2013 S1000RR HP4. We started on our trusty CBR 600RR, which we still have, 2018 model, that we got used. And we started on that, and not even a month in, it got stolen from us, dude. We went to work, and when we went out for lunch to go home and eat, it was not there. So that was a rough introduction to motorcycling out here, but it is what it is, man. The cops were able to retrieve it. It was found literally on the side of the road with no oil in it. They pretty much crashed it, blah 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 blah. Anyways, I made a video on that. It's on my channel. I'll see if I can remember to post the card of it up there in the right hand corner. But go ahead, brother. But yeah, man, a year of riding, and what a year has been. So a little bit of background about me if you are new to the channel. Before this 1 year, we never had a bike before. Yes, we had a Grom for maybe about a couple of months, and then we sold it because we thought biking wasn't for us, man. We whiskey throttled our Grom. And I was like, man, if I whiskey throttle the Grom, like, I'm definitely not cut out for the bike world. And it was different, man. When I had the Grom, I'll be honest with you, I was a lot younger, a lot stupider. I'm 30 years old now. I understand that risk that comes with this hobby that we all love. And yeah, I take it a little bit easier. My ego's a lot less inflated, if that makes sense. So I'm not afraid to just chill, sit back, let other people do their thing. And we know what we can and can't do. So that's kind of big when it comes into riding, man. And it's something that you hear a lot. You hear guys say, ride your ride. And that cannot be farther from the truth. Like, you need to be able to ride your ride. If you are riding in a group or with buddies that have been riding for a long time, and I've made videos about this too, it's not gonna end up well for you, man. I'm sure you're gonna have nights where you're gonna have a lot of fun, but you're just kicking the can down the road for something bad to happen, man. And that's not what we want to do. We're in the hobby to love it, to ride, obviously. So anytime that you're missing out because you're injured or the bike's out of commission because there was a crash or whatever, it's time that you're not enjoying your hobby, man. So I try to tell that to a lot of these younger guys, man. And like I said, I'm 30, so damn, I'm old. But it's something that it just comes within, and I feel like it does come with age. I mean, I don't want to sound like an old head, but I feel like it definitely does come with age, because when I was younger, bro, you couldn't tell me any different. Like, I would have been the guy that started on the 1000cc and like probably wouldn't be here today. So when you're looking to get your bike, try to follow a path that you're comfortable with, man. For me, I've always ridden manual cars. I'm very familiar with the manual transmission, so I felt like it would be okay for me to start on the 600, because it's another thing for me not to have to worry about with the manual transmission, the clutch, the shifting of the gears, stuff like that. Man, if you've never driven a manual or don't know how to drive manual, definitely do not start on the 600. Start on something a little bit smaller where you can learn those fundamentals and then move up. The good thing about bikes is that if you buy used, you're not really gonna lose a lot of money on that bike. Like if you buy a used bike for $4,000, $5,000 and you have it for 6 months, you're probably gonna be able to sell it for around the same price. At least here where I'm from, Miami, Florida, bikes don't really depreciate too much because people ride them year-round. Some people actually use them to commute to work like I do. Even though I have my Mazda, my little Miata, trusty Miata, I prefer to commute on the bike just because it's a lot better for managing traffic and stuff like that. So yeah, in that 1 year, man, the biggest thing that I was afraid of, and I'm still learning and getting used to it and still managing and always learning, and it's always going to be the case, but for me specifically, what I struggled with the most was U-turns, man. Because you're going really slow, there's a lot of weight on the bike and it feels like you're gonna fall. The only thing I can say to that is the only way to fix it is just to keep practicing, man. There's a local high school by where I live, and I use their parking lot to practice every now and then those U-turns, because it's, in my opinion, my biggest area of weakness. And that's what, within a couple of weeks or even a couple of months of you riding your bike, you're gonna know where your biggest weaknesses are. And I definitely recommend, man, find a lot, find somewhere that's empty, that's very minimal risk of you crashing into anyone or anything, and just go practice whatever that weakness is. If it's a simple thing as like just clutch management and learning with the bite points and things like that at the very beginning, to hard braking, finding the limits of your braking points, things like that, you're only gonna get better at that by practicing. So with that being said, don't be afraid of practice, man. It can sound kind of tedious, like almost like if you're doing homework, but when you have something as valuable as your life on the line, bro, if you're not willing to dedicate, half an hour, minimum at least a week to just practicing those basic fundamentals for you to get comfortable with, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe biking isn't the right thing for you. Now, if you start on the 600, which I did, a 1000 is almost, if they say bikes are hobbies, which they are, the 1000s are the biggest hobby of all. Meaning that if you get a 600, you will never really need a 1000. Never. You will never. I recently made a video about this, and I polled my audience, and the majority of, I asked, like, if you could only ride one kind of bike for the rest of your life, whether it be a 600, and this was in sports bikes, whether it was a 600 or 1000 or any other kind of capacity bike, the majority chose the 600. The 600 is, trust me when I say, the sweet spot. The 1000, like I said, is the hobby bike. It's the bike that you go out and you want to rip it down a highway. Okay, sure, get the 1000. But other than that, it's kind of useless, man. It really is. Like, there really is little or no point on having a 1000. So don't be in a rush to get the 1000, and especially if you have to sell your 600 to do it. Don't even freaking rush it, man. Enjoy that time on the 600. That's why we kept our 600. We're fortunate enough to be able to keep both the 600 and the 1000, which we have big announcements on the 600 coming soon to the channel. So if you guys want to hear that and are excited to hear that, make sure you go ahead and subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel, and that way you guys stay in tune with what we're doing. Here's a hint. It's kind of a track bike. We want to make it kind of a little track weapon. And there are a lot of things that we're gonna have to do. Brake master cylinders, brakes, braided lines, probably engine work. That engine has 40,000 miles. Things like that. So if you guys want to see that, I would appreciate your support. It is an expensive hobby, and any support given for sure will be hugely appreciated and definitely go a long way with that bike. So yeah, there is absolutely no rush to you getting a bigger bike. Enjoy the 600, because you will not be able to max out the capacity on that 600 even after your 1 year of riding, maybe even 3 years of riding. You're not going to get anywhere near the limit of what that bike can do. So getting a 1000 is kind of pointless. Now you might be saying, well, you got a 1000. Yes, I did get a 1000, but the way I rationalize that purchase decision in my head is that I was presented with an opportunity to purchase this bike, and this bike isn't a traditional S1000 RR. It's a more unique example of the bike, and there aren't really many for sale in the country, and I had to jump on it. It's more of a, I hate to use this word because it's not really an investment, but it's more of a toy for me as opposed to a rational consumer decision, you know what I mean? So that BMW just reminded me a good topic to talk about, and that is when you're on a bike, unless you just have an unwavering level of confidence and carelessness in the world, you're gonna want to be paying attention to absolutely everything and anything. Anything and everything out here can be used against you. And what I mean is that drivers, especially where I live, are a bit of a maniac. They're a bit of maniacs. Drivers down here where I live are a bit maniacal.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
To put it kindly. No blinker usage, no indications, nothing. People on their phone, eating what they're not supposed to be eating. People eating in their cars. Definitely happens a lot. So definitely be paying attention. I hate to see content creators on social media parading around congested highways in the middle of rush hour at like 120 miles an hour, as if that is something you should be doing. That is definitely not something you should be doing. Do not take notes from those guys. Yes, they are very skilled, but they have been doing it for a very long time. You cannot compare yourself to those riders because you don't have the seat time as those riders. Right behind the car, baby. Jesus Christ, brother. That's straight up jaywalking, bro. It's like you saw the cop and didn't even want to hurry up. Another point that I want to talk about, and that's gear, man. Now, I'm not the advocate for all the gear all the time. I'm not saying you definitely have to do that. I am a firm believer of you ride for the ride. So if I'm just going for a casual ride, I'm gonna wear casual gear, which obviously just includes my gloves, helmets, and in this case, when we're on the S1000 RR, is the boots. Just because the shifter, it's a little bit more rigid than on the CBR 600. And having that tough shoe exterior helps a lot better with shifting the gears. So don't worry about, oh, I need pants, oh, I need jackets, oh, I need this and that, and all the bits and bobs. I mean, the more you have, the better. Obviously, the safer you will be, but don't let it be a deterrent. Always dress for the ride, in my opinion. And I might get a lot of flack for that, but let's be real, at least here where I'm from right now, it is 83 degrees in February 6th. So If this is winter, just imagine the summer. So once you understand the risks that you are taking, then you could be more comfortable with the gear that you're wearing. But again, it all comes down to you understanding the risk that you are taking when you get on the bike. Overall, I will say this, having a motorcycle, riding motorcycles, riding around, whether that be alone or with friends, or whether you want to start vlogging or just recording your rides or whatever the case may be, it is such an enjoyable experience. It is such an encompassing, like absorbing feeling. Like, it's just so hard to describe unless you've done it. Nothing really compares to it. I'm a huge fan of cars. I love fast cars. I love what they can do performance wise. But man, let me tell you, the feeling that you get when you are riding a bike, you will not get anywhere else. You're not gonna experience the feeling that you get on a bike. Even when you're going 50 miles an hour, you're not gonna experience that anywhere else. You don't have to go 180. Just going 40, being on it, experiencing around you is definitely unmatched. And I highly recommend anyone that wants to get into it, do. Again, you just have to understand what you're getting into when you do it. You know, and unfortunately, it's a hobby that has an expensive consequences. And I'm not talking about monetary. So you just have to be aware of that, man. Be really aware and be very self-conscious of the family you have at home, the friends that you have, everything around you, because some of these are, you know, it's not worth taking some of the risks that some of these content creators take. And again, that's just something that you'll just learn as you live life, man. But with that being said, I hope you guys did like the video. Like I said, if you guys find it informative or entertaining, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you guys feel like supporting the channel and want to be there to back us and see the journey on our way to 100,000 subscribers, I know it's a very long way off, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. It really helps out the channel tremendously, and I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you started on, if you started riding, or if you haven't, what you want to start on. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it down in the comments below. And as always, ride safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!